Okay, so what we have is across the street here we have a cruiser and several officers standing around a portion of where the camp is located right now. And we got Department of Facility Maintenance parking in the grass over there, and some other cops down there. So they're on both sides right now of King Street, and we're just waiting to find out what their issue is. It's probably the way they're staged up is it looks like that they're getting ready for another raid, which would be, if they do normal practices, raid number 69. At least the first half of it. How's it? Alright.
Got any more of those flyers? The ones about your guys' movement?
I don't know which ones you'd be talking about.
The one that talks about what the homeless should do.
Yeah,
a bunch of brochures on.
We pass off all sorts of flyers, sir. You know, raids, right?
Oh, that's the guy who helps with housing.
Maybe you should try introducing himself.
I met him before.
Yeah, I had no clue who he is.
Yeah, they were housing. They were here in the very beginning. Both of them, the girl and this guy.
Has anybody said anything to you yet? Yeah, I know. I saw him pulling up.
What are you guys doing today?
You want a job listing?
Huh?
You want a job listing?
Yeah.
About from now.
Right on.
Need help with housing? I can give you my number.
I got something working right now. I'll take that. I mean, I got something working right now in housing, though. I'm supposed to be going over to this place in Wildlife. I think she threw out the application for the first month last month. No, some other. Yeah, I think ACLC. Right.
It doesn't work out. We call them to come in. We try another route. Yeah, there is some money to housing first as well to help people.
Yeah, I don't really need it. I'm not trying to help this guy get somewhere though before it's not getting all rough. I want it to get all rough. That's my kind of shit.
Okay, well, I'm not here for all that.
Yeah, I know that. I remember you guys. I remember you guys from 2011.
When we started.
From up there.
Yeah.
Are you guys offering jobs that's able to allow people to afford to live on their own?
We're just offering jobs, and then we're offering us housing subsidies that will kind of complement the income. So if you don't make but $10 an hour and you get $1,200 a week or $1,200 a month, housing subsidy would be a way to kind of work through that. So we kind of offer that. It takes a little bit of the process. You know what I mean?
They stopped us all.
Like,
There's a few people living in the park.
Oh, is that open for anyone?
Pretty much. They got to come in, we got to get some information, we got to know a little bit about you.
So if I give them your name and number, you'll be able to help them out.
I can help them out.
Okay. Cool.
They got to follow through, though. It's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So
That
this is
trust
my
me, I understand.
office number, and I have an open office on Tuesday before 2 p.m. You just come down to the men's side and you see me, and we just start the ball rolling.
Okay.
We provide case management services. We provide psychiatric, mental health, medical assistance. provide access to
They
all
told
the
me
kinds
to,
of
brother.
resources.
How come it took so long for anyone to start offering stuff like that?
Okay, so we've been coming out here since 2011 offering that service. But originally when we came out, everyone told us we're not homeless. This is part of the Occupy Hawaii movement.
Well, I was denied. What was it? A month after I started. I'm like been here since the original day. So when I was denied twice, as soon as I told them my name. Yeah. See that, and that's where some of the problems come in. I'm not saying it's you. Okay, but there is definitely individuals that's working for these programs that are not offering or even attempting to.
I would file a complaint to the chain of command of whoever denied you.
We've actually done stuff like that, and as the city and county and officers and DFM and everybody else that's involved with us knows, I don't know how much more of a complaint you can start, right? It's been a year and a half worth of a protest sitting here in a park, going after every government agency there is, you know. So, you know, to say go through chain of command.
What's your first name?
Chris.
Originally, when we came to you guys up there, we were offering the same packages.
Maybe to individuals. Maybe you guys weren't communicating well. Because I know, like, when you first came up to me, even though I've seen you, you never introduced yourself to me. And like I said, I'm the one that started it all.
Well, when we came up there, you guys were confrontational with us about wanting us to bring them sandwiches and stuff. And we said, we don't do that.
Right.
And it created
You shouldn't. I'm not a person that says handouts.
So there was a confrontation up there, and then we kind of got a little bit of reluctance to come down here because we're not part of the political movement. We want to actually help people get off the street. So my boss asked me to come down and make another attempt.
Now, does that? Do you guys tell people they have to go through shelters?
I'm not going to tell people they have to go through shelters. If there's a medical need, so we have an acute foot injury or whatever, trying to go get around on their own, I would probably recommend the shelter. Yeah, I would say, why don't you go to a shelter first, get medically fit.
Right. Well, the reason I ask is because you know there's anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 people that's left on the streets every night.
Correct.
And there's only 50 to 80 beds available. That's through your guys' boss and every other shelter that came together through several meetings now and stated that same statement. So with that, you guys aren't able to fit, you know, that many people in that few beds, right?
So what do you want to do? We'll do what we can.
Right. Well, no, it's not me going against you guys on it. Okay, because I understand you only have the services that you have. When it comes to shelter, you only have the space that you have. But see, these guys in the city council, and I know your spokespeople on the latest meeting for the last reading said that they approved the bills that's criminalizing these individuals. That's a problem. Yeah, but right. No, I understand, but if you're gonna speak for IHS, that's what a lot of people are looking at, and I can tell you for sure that is exactly why people don't want to give you a hand. I know that they'll listen to me if I tell them, but there's a lot of people that does not want anything to do with anybody that was the city and county or the shelters because of stuff like that.
I'm actually speaking about the services I can help people with.
Right.
As far as what IHS and all that goes through, I can't, speak on it. I can just help people get what they need to get.
That's cool. I can appreciate that. I'm just, that's just maybe something to maybe talk to your bosses about it sometime. Because like I said, I'm not pointing fingers at a particular person. I'm just saying, with the amount of activity that's going on there, and knowingly criminalizing the homeless, where we all know that's unconstitutional. There's no doubt about it. That's something that's been in and out of Supreme Court at least 12 times now, and there's at minimum 25 cases that I've found that's been in federal court. Maybe need more control over your bicycle. But when you have that many cases that have all been lost, or not, maybe to put it correctly, where the individuals that was suing the city and government entities, where they have lost and the individuals walked away winning. When we know that many times has happened, and we see our city and county wasting community resources to do that, when that money that's been spent should be helping you help more people. You know? And when IHS sits there and constantly is badgering and going against, like I was even kicked out of your guys' facility as soon as I walked on property.
Why?
That's something for your guys to answer. Because I actually walked up with myself. As soon as I got to the door, what are you doing here? I'm here to help. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, I want to volunteer. No, we can't have your kind here. That's what I was told. And that's why I was like, fine. If you won't allow people to volunteer and help you, then something's wrong with your organization. All because I was part of the Occupy movement. That was the only thing. And they told me no. You know, so when I never actually spoke out against IHS, I spoke out the conditions that our city and county places individuals by having them go into the shelters, not because of you guys, but because of the amount of funding that you receive, and you guys are trying to maximize as much as you can to give as much service as you can, but very little.
So, Chris, I've listened to a lot of what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this to you. It's just, I know that if IHS is involved, it's primarily about people that are in danger. We have a lot of people walking around with medical infections in their feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to require an amputation.
Yep.
We have alcoholics that are going to the hospital getting their feet cut off for diabetic neuropathy. These things are curable and stoppable. And so I think that's what we're primarily after. Guys that can go get a job and work and do the
do work.
Whatever, you know. And so I can't argue about state law and all that kind of stuff. It's not worth what I do.
You may not be able to argue it, but your company is definitely pushing them.
We don't know about that.
Oh, I do, because I sit at every single one of those meetings and hear what they say.
I know I sat in a board meeting about maybe 3 weeks ago. It was all about affordable housing. We were talking about it. We're asking us what we can do to find affordable housing. So we talked about vacant properties on a water that we can use to rent out to people that need housing.
You see, that's the thing, right? And again, this isn't about you, but it's also the perspective. We've been this subject has been brought up for a couple decades at least, right?
Sure.
Housing First has been talked about since Fossey and before him, correct? But nothing has actually ever happened. Now, for a year and a half of me standing out here screaming and shouting and starting all sorts of issues, then the state finally starts picking it up, right? But then we have some lady that's in there that decides to waste $450,000 on 30 people. I was like, what? Yeah, I do. Trust me, man. I know. I've been in and out in every single meeting. So when I hear stuff like that on something that's so easy, especially when there's models that's able to be taken after with other cities, and you can see how it's working and how little they end up spending, because Housing First, in its definition, is just housing. Right? It should be nothing else, period. But if we take $1,000 for the average studio, with $1,000 deposit, $2,000 to at least pay for whoever service actually picked those guys up to help them out in there to figure out what they actually need. Meaning, do they need medical, physical, whatever kind of needs, job location, whatever. Throw a couple more thousand in there, you got $4,000 on the start, right? So that'd be $3,000 extra besides the first month, plus the $12,000 at the end of the year. It comes to $15,000 for a whole entire year per person. If it costs anything more than that, someone's messing up. Someone's messing up bad. And as I do know, when I took and went through all the city and county's paperwork, I found out the city and county actually stole, or embezzled actually is the better word of it, $3.2 million out of the Assistance Housing Fund, and $900,000 more of that is lost, where the city auditor says they can't figure out where it went, meaning it went in someone's back pocket.
Maybe.
No, well,
maybe there's
Okay, when you're talking $4.2 million and there isn't a single receipt of location of any sort, I have no idea what they did with those funds, and 900,000 of it is actually just thin air missing. It went somewhere, right?
Maybe there's a computer glitch.
Oh, there ain't no computer glitch, because this is a systemic ever since 1992, all the way up to 2004, and the city auditor finally called it out on. So it's stuff like that, right? You got to sit there and say,
maybe somebody did it, so you have something to talk about.
no, I believe someone's doing it because they want to make the public think the city's doing their job, and they want to have people like you that really want to help people get off the street. So the whole community thinks everything's fine, but then we had the big toys called like Rail, the Ho'opili Project,
Are those guys homeless
Van
down there?
Island. A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go down and talk to them.
All right.
Hey, pass my number along.
I will. I definitely will.
Nisha can help.
Oh.
I'm here for the gathering. Have a good day.
Yeah. Well, make sure you pass the information to your bosses. How's it going, man? How you been? So what that was a representative of IHS that came to the camp. It looks like the city and county is getting a little bit more active and actually trying to offer some type of service to the individuals that's at Thomas Square. You gotta wonder, is that same service available for every single person? So I'll do my best ability to get that number of his out to every individual that's out here. See if they actually get some people off the street. He's pushing Housing First around, but we all know Housing First isn't a formulated plan for every single houseless person on the island yet. It's a state deal. So offering services to a few may put a small little scratch in what's been going on, but it doesn't solve the whole issue. He definitely did want to talk about what IHS has been promoting and helping the city and county with, so we'll see. Looks like just a normal raid, man.
Yeah, it's the normal. Just a tagging. The funny thing is, look at how many police officers are here, wasting my money.
Yeah.
Wasting my tax dollars.
Well, that's what I was just talking to with that IHS guy. Talking to him about. It's like, what is this?
I know. What is this?
IHS agrees with all this. And that's what I was trying to talk to him about. I'm like, hey, you want to come here as IHS?
4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah, we got the big dogs out today. Yeah, he didn't want to talk about anything that IHS has been promoting. I'm like, well, you got to understand, people don't trust you, man.
Yeah.
They don't trust you for a reason.
Right.
You come here with those 3 letters, and it's like, it scares people, man.
Yeah, they know what it is. I've seen IHS. It's a fucking tent city.
And
over by Kmart. It's like 3 blocks of tents.
They're like, Well, that's just part of it. Those are the ones that are sitting outside of it to receive services, but not follow the rules for inside. But still, I'm like, when you guys come in there talking smack about the homeless and saying that they have to be in your facility, but you're underfunded where you can't help the individual directly in your facility, and that they're stuck there for 2-3 years. Why does anybody want to go to you, man? Yeah. But you just came here and offered me a place and a job. Is that available to everyone? And he's like, well, yeah, here. I was like, okay, well, I'll make sure I get it out to everyone. I'm going to see everybody off the street. But then
people don't even want to work.
Right.
What do you do with a person that don't want to work and doesn't want to rent a house?
Well, then he sat there.
Criminal.
Then we talked about that too. I was like, through all the meetings,
what people do.
You were against, but then the last meeting you said you supported Bill 6. I mean Bill 7. Sorry, Bill 7. I was like, in which is the starting of criminalizing the homeless, man. I was like, so why would people want to trust you when you want to throw them in jail? Well, that's not what I do. I can't ask for what, but you work for them, and you know what their plan is, and you know what their idea is. And you definitely have the ability to talk to them. If they want to paint themselves a better image, they need to get off their high horse and stop acting like that.
I know, right?
I was like, that's why I've been out here for over a year and a half now. And he's like, I know, I remember you. And I'm like, yeah, well, you guys denied me twice. And then when I went up there to volunteer, you kicked me off the property. And all I did was walk in, and I didn't even get to the inside. And I was literally going there to help volunteer. But because I'm part of the movement, nope. I was like, so you can't deny me.
I know if you give me $500,000 for a year, I'll take care of everyone on the street.
Right.
I put them up in a nice house, they be eating good
Well,
meals.
that's what I just talked to him. I was like, the state wasted $450,000 on 30 people, but let's do the math.
Yeah.
I was like, it comes out to $15,000 a year. If there's any other services that's needed, it comes from another service, not housing first, because housing first means what? Housing, that's it. If they have medical attention that's needed, if they have job, amenities that's needed, that's a whole other service, right? Yeah. Housing, it shouldn't cost more than $15,000. I don't care, and that's giving them $2,000 to decide if the person actually needs to see a psychiatrist, not do the work, just to see it. And he definitely didn't want to talk about the embezzlement or the missing money that's been taken out of the assistance housing.
Thank you, guys. Take care. See you guys.
You guys have a good one.
All right. See you tomorrow, guys. See you later. My dreams. How many of that? 3 city workers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 police, 2 plainclothes. 12 cops, 3 city workers.
One of them smoking steam.
I feel impressed that you guys brought 12 cops for me and my buddy and an old man. Makes me feel like I can kick a lot of ass. You guys need that many people. I guess you remember that Chris Khalid thing the other day, though, yeah? Tomorrow. We'll see ya. I got a big brown tarp that fits over the top of my whole tent this time. No need change them. Just throw a gigantic fucking tarp over the top. And flip it to Crane the next day. Yeah. I'd sugar buy these fucking gigantic tarps. Alright, guys. Go do something productive with my tax dollars. That's the guy who did the Boston shit. I know these guys like come on TV.
Well, they're gonna be tagging at the other. They're tagging on the other end. Who's down on the other end? Any of us?
They already tagged it. It's
no, they didn't.
Lido and his girlfriend. Yeah, they did it first.
Okay.
It's Lido and his girlfriend. The guy, one of the little dogs. Harry Krishna's over there.
Okay.
I think Alex has a parent, and then
yeah, the police are starting to leave, so I guess.
Bye.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.